Sunday, the Hardy Boys in a race with death. Then, a visitor from beyond all galaxies.
Who are you?
A demonic messiah with the power of life and death.
This man is some kind of a god.
Is this the end or a new beginning for Battlestar Galactica?
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
His paintings redefined comic book heroes. His vision inspired a generation. The Legend of Kingdom Come is the definitive documentary on Alex Ross, known as the Norman Rockwell of comics.
It almost looked like Renaissance paintings, except for superheroes.
He makes them look like Olympian gods.
We go behind the scenes of his definitive graphic novel, Kingdom Come, now on Blu-ray, packed with exclusive interviews and unseen artwork. Order today at legendofkingdomcome.com.
If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. For just $3 a month or more, you'll get exclusive access to the Word Balloon e-magazine, featuring transcriptions of some of my best conversations. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Michael Bendis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. Welcome back, everybody. It's time again for Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here. Man, every time I talk to this guy, the numbers keep hitting for him. It's great to talk to Jeremy Haun right after the debut of The Beauty, the wonderful co-creation that Jeremy and Jason Hurley made for Image Comics years ago, now for Ignition Press, but also now a major television show on FX and Hulu. Dropped last night, and we're here to talk to Jer about the Beauty experience and more. Welcome back, Jer.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Good to see you again.
As always, my man. Well, first of all, when I heard that Ryan Murphy was involved, it's like, all right, I know the boys are in safe hands. But then I got to watch the 3 episodes in a row. I kind of get it, given the scope of the story, that we needed this much to really kind of get into it and stuff. But I got to ask you about, before we get into the nitty gritty, comparing the TV show and what you guys have going on in the comic. The latest issue, everybody, dropped. Issue 3 dropped on Thursday, or pardon me, Wednesday, yesterday. But tell me about the whirlwind experience of having a major television show based on your work.
Well, I'm still in shock. I don't know when that ends. This is the first time, this anything. I mean, this has been in the works for years. I mean, we've been wanting this to happen, specifically wanting it to happen with Ryan for a decade. And, like as with most things, Hollywood is just a process of hurry up and wait. You have the right people, you have everything in place. And the second that we knew that we had Ryan Murphy and his creative partner, Matt Hodgson, on it, like we knew that we were in the best hands for this project. The thing that we just had to do was wait and let it be what it was, and just not go crazy along the way.
He obviously has other TV shows in motion. Was that part of the reason why it took as long as it did to go from him committing to it to finally hitting the screen last night?
Yeah, I mean, there's always more reasons behind why something takes the amount of time than it does than we'll ever even know. I mean, I know that every single time that I was like, are we sure we're doing this? Ryan would come back and be like, this is the show that I want to do. This is the thing that I want to be doing. And that level of excitement, we believed in it. and it's paid off, and it's a great thing.
You beyond. Well, first of all, tell me about the premiere. You had a big New York premiere.
Yeah, that was amazing. Getting to get brought out to New York. Hurley and I, my co-creator Jason Hurley, we got to go out with our partners and got to go to the city, and like we get there and you're driving, taking a taxi in, and we get in and you get out of and we got out of the car, and a cab pulled by with an ad for the beauty on the top of it. And we knew that the ads were out there. We knew that there were some around Times Square and stuff like that. But talk about unbelievably surreal. This thing that we'd been building to for forever, seeing it and really like seeing it done so well. We've all seen series, TV series that the ad campaigns, they're okay, or maybe miss the mark or whatever a little bit. A lot of shows don't get the love that they even deserve and don't really get to take off the way that we'd want. Uh, the the marketing team behind the FX show is beyond amazing. Like they really got it, got the social commentary of it, the playfulness of it, everything from the ad designs, like the one you showed. It's got this cool vibe to it. But I love that it's like Bella Hadid looking amazing, but then you see like this old version kind of thing. But then beyond that, the like they brought in influencers to do Instagram style ad campaigns talking about this thing, and it had this playfulness and this weird joy that Ryan really brings to everything he does. And it's the best version of this that we could have, and I'm incredibly grateful for it.
Um, Incredible timing, Jared. I mean, certainly you and Jason, when you created this thing, um, you hadn't heard of things like Ozempic. It wasn't even those things weren't even on the market. I'm sure they
No.
might have been lab testing. So,
Right.
what led you and Jason to think of this kind of sexually transmitted disease to go to this nth degree, and also the idea that it would be a popular STD?
Yeah. I was working for Top Cow back. I mean, this is 2011, right around there. And the at the time, the publisher at Top Cow was Philip Sablick, who is now the publisher of Ignition Press, our new company. So it's kind of come full circle there. But I was out there at Top Cow, and Philip and I were working on prepping my work on The Darkness. And there's this huge mall in LA. Some of you are familiar with it, but it's the Grove, and it's just this amazing, crazy mall. It's got everything you could ever want. I'm a boy from the Midwest, so show me a cool mall, and I'm blown away. But we were having lunch at this great spot, and everybody else, because they're from LA and believe in moderation, were having a nice salad for lunch, and I had like the biggest burger I could get my hands on, and I'm just like chomping away, but I kept watching, and that like everybody that walked by, like every third person or whatever looked like an actor or a model. And I really got to thinking about the lengths that we go to look a certain way to hit an aesthetic ideal. And you realize that, and it's only been proven more and more since then with the rise of Ozempic and various hair treatment things and various things. Like there are so many procedures out there and so many pills and shots and all these things that you can do to look like some culturally decided upon ideal, Hollywood hot, let's call it that. And it like really resonated with me. And so I was kind of talking about it with Philip, and I was like, this is like this thing. And he had been encouraging me anyway. He'd said, I love you as an artist, but he had been around for me pitching various ideas for things and really saying like, like I this kind of crazy thing meets this thing. And he realized that I'm pretty decent at that I'm more of a storyteller than just an artist, and was encouraging me to really dive into that. And I got home and he was like, he's like, I really think you need to think about this more, and I really think you need to try it. And I flew back into St. Louis, Missouri, which is on the other side of the state, basically the polar opposite side. It's like 5 hours from Joplin, where I live. And there was a small convention there, and Hurley was there, and I'd flown in. He was like, I'll drive you home after the convention. He was there set up.
Yeah, Jason was prior to the beauty success. Jason was a comic book vendor for people who don't know. But,
he was a retailer, and
absolutely.
So we had this huge panel van, kind of thing that, and we hopped in, drove 5 hours across the state back home, and I talked about the beauty, this idea, and it was just that germ, that examination, and I talked about that, and then he was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. What about this?" And it turned into my favorite kind of thing, which is a "what about this" session, right? Like you don't really know anymore where one idea ends and another begins, and by the time that we were back in Joplin, we had Foster and Vaughn, the main two characters. We had the villain of the story. We knew, and like part of that I had really been fascinated by is because of the lengths that you'll go to, right? Like if you're gonna get like massive reconstructive surgery done and be under the knife and possibly have your nose do something weird or whatever, like if you're willing to do that, you'll do just about anything. Well, what if it was, here's my cat, he's saying hi, but like what if the thing is, what if you would catch an STD? Like what would it be worth it? What if it maybe you didn't really know what it was going to do? What if it really could be very, very bad? And as we talked about it, we just realized that like there are more people that we know that would catch something, even if it was an STD, just to look a certain way. And then out of that, it just became this wonderful morality play. I kind of hate that term, but I love the idea that like it became this thing where we were examining why you would or would not get that and what that would do to your life. Some people use it to, just because they want to be models. Some people use it to literally hide their identity. Like there's all these options for what you can do. And we did it. We did 30 issues at Image. The industry was changing. 2019 was an incredibly hard year for the comics industry on the whole. And we hit a point, we like a stopping point that was perfect. And we're like, hey, even though we have more stories that we'd like to tell, we could tell, we can stop here and feel good for the rest of our lives about what we've done. And we always have this caveat, like if we ever want to come back and can come back and it makes sense, by all means, we have more stories. And that's how it came about.
So now, again, and this is issue 3, and everybody, this is the Ignition Press symbol, the watermark you can see over the cover, and you'll forgive me for showing that version, but I was kind of pressed for time. But this is the current issue that's out. Those 30 issues, obviously now, this is so interesting, Jared, because honestly, I literally just talked to Charlie Adler of The Walking Dead, and Van Jensen is about to get the Hollywood experience as well. His novel's being developed into a TV series by Ron Howard. So I mean, heavy hitters, man, left and right for all of you guys. And those initial, like, the reason why I bring up Charlie is the great thing was with him and Robert Kirkman with The Walking Dead. They ended the series on their own terms. You did that as well with the 30 issues of The Beauty, but now the door is open, and as you say, the story possibilities are endless, as evidenced by the shades of similarity that Ryan Murphy is exploring in the TV show, but it is a different experience. So the 30 issues, and we discussed this the last time you were on, but refresh my memory. Are the 30 issues, is there an omnibus of those original Image issues?
So what we wanted to do was, obviously as time goes by, stock depletes. And we kind of hit a point with Image. We knew that we were going to be leaving, or I knew we were going to be leaving, and I was going to be taking my stuff to Ignition. I'm, for those of you that don't know, I'm a partner in Ignition Press. It's a company that I built with our CEO, Eric Gitter, who does all of the Hollywood side of stuff. He is an executive producer on The Beauty. And then Philip Sablik, who I mentioned earlier, is our publisher, and our fourth partner is Jamie S. Rich. He's our editor-in-chief. And I knew that because we were building this thing, you don't really want to be like a partner in a company and still be having stuff come out elsewhere. I mean, and and I mean it with nothing but love for Image. I was just looking at a stack of stuff that I had picked up, and like how much great stuff had come out from Image just over the past like month and a half. I having the opportunity to move to Ignition really allowed us to re-examine how we wanted to present The Beauty for this next phase, right? We knew the show was coming out. We knew it was coming out fairly soon. And we wanted to package it in a way that that was affordable and attractive for a broader audience. There were 6 volumes originally from Image for the 30 issues, and we wanted to consolidate them. I'm going to slide out and grab this.
Sure.
Got it right here on my spinner rack. But so what we did was we did a new, they're called it Book 1, but this is 2 volumes of the regular series featuring Jason and I writing. It's got I drew the first 6 issues of the book, and then we had Mike Huddleston come in and draw issue 7. Issue 8 was drawn. No, 8 and 9, 8, 9, 10 were drawn by Brett Weldley, and Stephen Green came in and drew issue 11. But yeah, 11 issues, You know, it's a fat book for $20. $20. That's the thing. We're going to do 3 volumes. Um, that's all 30 issues in 3 volumes, and we are doing the new series that we're continuing at the same time, and it's a wonderful thing.
So, did that first fat volume come out on Wednesday as well?
Yeah, that came out Wednesday at the same time that uh, issue 3 of the new series came out. We had done a version. It was yellow rather than the blue of this one for volume 1. That was a comic shop exclusive version, but this is the mass market version. So this is the one you can get. Like that one was limited to comic shops only. This one you can get anywhere fine books are sold, basically, online or
Amazon
whatever
and
it
the
is.
like.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
That's cool. And digitally as well.
We are finalizing that process right now. That's been the thing. The digital landscape has really changed. I mean, obviously, you can still get the Comixology thing has now shifted to being Kindle, and it's a slightly different process. But there's also other spots out there that
Sure.
you can go with, and we kind of just wanted to do as much of them all as we could. I know that we have a lot of readers that I've got a buddy that lives in Brooklyn, and he's like, "Hey, shelf space is incredibly limited. Please do digital. This is how I read my books now." I've got friends that live in countries that they just literally can't get uh, you know physical comics
Access
and
to a
read
store.
digitally.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you and I know all too well that our old man eyes are starting to betray us. So being able to do that is a great thing. Oh no,
Absolutely.
so these right here, these sweet shit, these sweet glasses. These are technically trifocals.
Wow.
I was doing. I'll show everybody. I was doing just my regular glasses, and then I would take off my glasses constantly to read my phone or whatever it was. But I was having to draw with these like granny
Oh
readers,
my.
basically. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my.
And I had this sexy ass chain that I would do like this, and, but and I think
Hey,
these are
you're
like
Harry Carey. Boy,
yeah,
oh boy.
exactly.
Let me sit down and draw my comics.
Yeah, well, I realized I was like getting closer and closer to the page, and I was, basically just hunching over like
Oh,
this, and
Jared. Oh, Jesus.
I was like,
Yeah.
so I finally got these, and now I can see my damned phone in front of my face.
Well, that's good, Jared. Now, hey, man. I know artists that at the end had a jeweler's eye
Yeah.
piece to do their books and stuff. So again, we want Mr. Haun's eyesight to be maintained and enjoy this wonderful success. What is again, one of my favorite people in comics is Lori Haun, your partner, and she knows it. You know it. But yeah, what's her? I mean, seriously, have you been like, what do you think of all this?
We we're so we both grew up really poor here in the Midwest, and I think that like we always had this. Both of us have this like real like just farm ethic, right? It's like a work ethic. You wake up, you do the work, you get the thing done. You hope that you get the thing, but you never really plan to get the thing. It's always this: the crops may come in, but if they don't, it's going to be a tough year. Um, we were sitting in the premiere in New York, dressed up with,
Black tie or just suits?
I got a, my version of one. I still look like a dipshit, but
A
no,
nice suit.
I got like I got a fairly nice suit. Really wanted. Here's how much of a fancy man I am, people. I've always wanted like a really nice bespoke suit. I'm I'm built like a stack of squares, so I'm not like who looks good in a suit. Ben Templesmith looks good in a suit. You see Ben
Indeed.
Templesmith and you're like, oh my gosh, like he's like handsome and thin and tall and I look
Dickensian,
like
like modern Dickensian, if you will.
yeah yeah
Charles.
I look like somebody that would play a heavy in an old movie I look like the boxer that would get the hell kicked out of him and way too early in the fight and so when I wear a suit it's just but you want it to look nice. You get it tailored up, and so I had a pretty nice suit, and I got it tailored a little bit, and um, but that was an aside. Sorry, but we're sitting there in at the premiere, and she's like this is weird, and it was just so surprising and wonderful, and I think the word that I continually find myself using about all of this is I'm grateful, right? Like I'm just grateful. Um, Everything else aside, what having your beloved comic series made into something else does is it lets you make more comics and tell more stories. Um, I have now hit the point where if there is a story that I want to tell, I can just take the time and do the thing. I don't have to worry, forever I always had this and you can kind of even see it if you look through my career, kind of what I would have to do where it would be like I would have the one for me and then I'd have the one for them, right? So I would go and I do I literally drew the first 6 issues of the Beauty, and then I went and worked for DC for a while, and then I
Yep.
came back and worked worked on the Realm for 13 issues, yeah, 13 issues,
Another great
and then
creator-owned book that
yeah,
Jeremy has done in the past.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But we had to hit the pause button. I mean, it was like again, 2019 was a really just garbage year for comics in general. There were a lot of returns from a big box store and stuff like that that affected sales.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and we're still dealing with that. But
Wow. Damn.
um,
Wait a minute. 7 years later, still dealing with that.
well, there was a very specific time where I knew exactly like what my check on the Beauty would be. Like I knew how much we would get, and I was able to pay my team. Be like, hey, okay, well, you guys are being completely gracious. You're working on back end and everything like that. And I mean, and these are people that were working hard on the book and cared and were invested in it. And then suddenly you go from getting, knowing what that check is to getting one that says 0 on it. And then the next one doesn't ever, it doesn't ever really pick back up to what it was. And that was just the state of things. It was a symptom of a larger thing that was happening. It was not the thing. It was just part of it.
This is
That's
really one, if I may, a sliver of what's been going on with certainly the not. I mean, in the case, I'll name check. Borders obviously went out of business. That really hurt a lot of comic book
yeah.
people and companies, especially more so the independents. DC and Marvel can absorb the hit, but it's a lot harder when it is the smaller press publishers, and certainly the Image people really as big as Image is a collective of creators. So that was tough. And then I'm sure Diamond's dissolution probably hasn't helped either.
Well, and I think that's the thing. It's as you go, you see these shifts and changes in the industry. And I mean, we're seeing things. I hope, I think, I feel that they're getting better. You're seeing, you know, really great distribution options. We at Ignition were lucky enough to get with Penguin Random House. But like, there are such great distribution options out there stepping in to fill the void.
Good.
And I got to give a shout out to retailers right now. Retailers are figuring out very, very clever, well reasoned, thought out ways to get books in people's hands, even when they weren't easy to get out there, even when distribution fell apart for them, the system that they'd used for 30 years. I mean, come on. Like you see retailers working hard, and I'm incredibly proud of, I don't know if we're like a cockroach, where we just can't be killed by anything or what it is, but stuff gets bad and we just keep fighting. And that's care and resilience, and just a love of this kind of story. Because look, the reality of it, and we talked about this before, comic storytelling is unlike anything. It like, this medium is so special in what you can do and how you can take and do just clever, fun, interesting things. There's always the thing that people say where they're like, hey, you're just making comics to try to get outside, you're just trying to get a movie made or a TV show. Sometimes that happens, but the reality of it is, I mean, first of all, I just want to make a cool comic. I see, I have written screenplay stuff. I have written prose stuff, horribly written prose stuff. I see stories in comic form. The pacing, the things that you can do, that is my love, and that's where my heart is. And it's an important medium, and I'm rambling, but I get really passionate about comics and what we can do.
Absolutely, man. No, again, Charlie Adler, just a couple days ago, we were talking about his latest book, Altamont, and yeah, I love Charlie. He's like, this is not a commercial thing and whatever. And it's like, yeah, but the great thing is, Charlie, with the success of The Walking Dead, you don't have to take jobs to pay the bills. And that's a very rare place to be in comics. And I realize that. And I also know that there are a lot of aspiring creators that love Word Balloon. And I thank you for watching. But it is interesting to kind of explore this moment. Now, tell me about, because again, comic books are a unique way to tell stories. Tell me about the collaboration, if there was a direct one with Ryan Murphy, or like, what is the synergy between the Beauty as a comic and the Beauty as a TV show?
There's kind of three layers to it. One is, I'm an executive producer on the show. I was very fortunate to be invited into that role. Hurley is the creative consultant on the show, which it as cool as it was to see my credit up there, and tear-inducing to see, based on the comic series created by Jeremy Haun and Jason A. Hurley. Seeing Hurley's credit, because I was on the executive producer, because there's like 800 executive producers on something.
Yes, there is. There is.
Three of us. But Hurley had it said, creative consultant Jason A. Hurley. And I don't know, I saw that at the premiere, and I just
Oh,
started bawling
yeah,
my eyes
man.
out. Well, because I those of you who don't know him, Hurley is I'm like average height. He's like 6'4" and just a mountain of a man.
Yes.
Um, and the biggest sweetheart on earth. He is laid back in a way that's just it's. I wish I'm so high strung. I wish I could be more like him constantly. So I'm incredibly proud of him, and just in this process and what it's done for him and what it's done for both of us has been fantastic. But it made me so happy. But back to the question. So there were initially they got the comics. They liked. There's a thing sometimes where like they're like, we want to get the source material, and then they're just like, throw it over their shoulder. There was a reverence from the beginning. It spoke to something in Ryan and Matt and their creative process. They wanted to examine the things that we were talking about in the way that we were talking about them. So there were initial talks, where like we're like, hey, they're like, we have questions, and we're like, we'll make up answers. I don't know, it was like we didn't, sometimes like where does the beauty come from? Man, I don't know if I want to talk about that, like, but
Oh, now forgive me. I'm going to stop you for a second. So, yeah, I mean, was it a concern of proprietary feeling about it as far as that goes? Because again, this story and what I love about both the comic and the television show is this is much bigger than just a street
right,
drug that is
right,
impacting people. I
right.
mean, the implications of pharmaceuticals and also knockoff stuff,
Mhm,
knockoff versions of the drug,
mhm.
and certainly with its complications of death and extreme violent and gross
Right,
death,
right,
things like
right.
that. But so yeah, tell me again when those questions came up.
I know we never had one of the things, and I'll share this is because we had asked this part a lot. They're like, did you care about the changes that Ryan and Matt made? And Hurley, we at the family viewing last night that we had the big watch party. Somebody asked that. One of our family members asked that, and Hurley said it, and like everything clicked into place for me. He said, "We made the perfect thing. Like we made the comic. Nobody can take away from the comic and what it is. If the show had been horrible, and it's not, I really loved what was going. Um, but if it had not been a good show, it wouldn't make the comic suck. It would just have not worked. Luckily, we had people that care about it and are having so much fun and making something balls out crazy that I want to see forever for greedy reasons and just because as a fan. But we didn't really, we're like, if it ends up being this, we're fine. If it ends up being amazing, we're really great. We're happy with whatever they were going to do or change. It didn't affect us. Like I wasn't willing to take and change the comic to accommodate something else. And the beautiful thing, but the thing is, they never asked us to. They never said like, "Hey, can you make the comic more like this or whatever?" And every idea that they had, by now some of you have seen like the difference in the death cycle is a little different.
Sure.
Gross and
Yes.
very very cinematic. I mean, if you look at everything that they kind of added and changed about the processes, it's cinematic. It makes sense. Like um, seeing somebody sort of, like burn from the inside out was the concept in the beauty, and then they're just these beautiful statue-esque things.
In the comic, yes, in the comic.
Yeah, in the comic, yeah, that's how it is. In the show, it's just it's crazy. Um, and I love that. I like, and but you think about it, and you're like, so from a visualist standpoint, you something's moving, and it's a static image. You really want like an iconic shot. This is something that they're like them writhing around and shooting around, and the whole transformation thing, like it's very, very visual, and it works incredibly well.
Of course.
So yeah, so I we talked about it initially. They went off and did their thing, and we got to see what they made, and we're like, holy shit, this is good. This is so good. And there is stuff that is coming that is so good and weird and upsetting and creepy in the best sort of ways.
Well, that's what's interesting. And again, your visual choice makes sense for a static image of a comic. So that obviously makes sense. Their choice makes sense from a visual television and cinematic standpoint. And also not only catching the wave of Ozempic, Mounjaro, all these other drugs that are out there to help with weight loss. By the way, much like Cy Spurrier of the Hair Club for Men, I'm also a client, and I admit that freely.
Right.
But and obviously, I'm in the early stages as well. I haven't reached that wonderful point yet that you see some of the Hollywood people. But no, what is also interesting is that you're catching the body horror trend that has always been there. But certainly last year's success of The Substance, I think, probably played in all of your favor with what Ryan is and forgive me, Ryan's partner on the show,
Matt Hodgson. Hodgson.
So yes. Ryan and Matt, what Ryan and Matt are doing with the TV show and everything. Yeah. No, I think it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think it's really again timing, man. Timing is everything with success. And son, the horseshoe is very firmly up your ass right now with everything that's going on. And like you said too, we know a lot of our friends that have had things adapted into television shows and films that weren't as good as the comic and are out there for better or for worse. Some are good shows that didn't have the legs. I think the combination of Hulu and FX only plays to your guys' favor. And again, the pedigree of Ryan Murphy and what he's been able to put out there as far as television shows. So you're in really, really good hands. It's terrific that he directed the pilot as well.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to be truly involved in this. There's because showrunners, you build a show out, you put your stamp on it, you build in a writer's room, and then you have writers and directors that come in working on your vision, and then you fine tune things. That's the showrunner. That's how TV works. But like Ryan wanted not just to like fine tune. He and Matt wrote every episode. I think Ryan directed 2, maybe 3. But like 2 episodes of this season. That's huge. That's a willingness to not fine tune, but truly put your stamp on something. And I love that.
Hi, Carrie. Hi, Prince. For people asking, I'm fine. It's just a cold. Don't worry. Everything.
Yeah.
This is where if our mutual friend B. Claymore were watching, would be like, John, are you dying? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Well, we're both. I mean, coming off. I got hit by whatever this flu is.
Yeah, man. It's fine.
On New Year's New Year's Eve, I was like, oh, I'm not feeling very good. New Year's Day, I was like, I'm dying. And I was doing better. And then I went to New York and stayed up too late, ate too much, drank too much, and now I sound a little rough again. So
Well, that's
we're just nasally.
oh, and again, I mean, this is the thing that sometimes when you're in media and big stories happen, you play sick, and again, I wouldn't even call it sick. It's
Right.
I've gone through this with radio. Anyway, enough about me. Back about what's going on. How many episodes of the first season?
Is it 12? I believe it's 12.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So we have 9 more weeks to enjoy this. That's great. I mean, again, Jer, certainly as you said earlier, the media blitz. I mean, all over Instagram, Facebook, anywhere at TikTok. I mean, I'd see these wonderfully slick ads, and again, it is so great because you compare them to the real pharmaceutical commercials that are out there.
Yeah.
It's again great timing, and also you got to be what a high-powered cast. My God, I mean, Ashton Kutcher, Isabella Rossellini, who
Mhm.
I've adored for decades,
Yeah.
and also the other actors that I can't name check, but everybody is really killing it. And also, I wish I had the visual handy. I will likely do this for shorts that I will make from this conversation, but and forgive me, I don't remember if you have named your assassin that is out there killing in the comic, but also the assassin on the television show. Um, a great, very different, but
Right.
also motivate, kind of moving in the same way, perhaps from
Yeah.
different motivations.
Yeah. Anthony Ramos plays the assassin in the show, and in the comic, for those of you who don't know, in the comic, he is they call him Mr. Calaveras, and he wears like a Dia de los Muertos mask, so it's like a full mask. Um, and I wanted a visual pop. It's creep, like if you see somebody walking towards you wearing this mask, it's terrifying. And one of the interesting things about, especially the direction that they wanted to take, in spite of all of the body horror and grossness and sex and great fight scenes and everything that this show has, there is such a human element. There's such a care that is put into giving depth to each character. And the assassin actually is one of my favorite, like both the assassin and Jeremy. So the
Yes,
assassin is Anthony Ramos. Jeremy is Jeremy Pope. We call him Handsome Jeremy around my house because I get to be other Jeremy.
yeah.
Those two characters are so great and so nuanced, and seeing, I don't want to spoil, but seeing definitely the changes in Jeremy's character in the story, and the emotionality, and like, there's a moment where he is told by somebody else what he is as a person. Like somebody's saying like, well, this is who you are. And like, well, I didn't know that. And it was beautiful. And it's so hilarious and so weird and so over the top. I love
Well,
it.
if I may, yeah, there are beautiful people, and there are the rest of us, and I do love, and especially being the rock and roll freak that I am, especially about British pop. The beautiful men are Chads,
Yeah.
and the not so beautiful people are Jeremy's. So,
Right.
what was that feeling when, as sadly as the so it's and this must be what the Karens of the world are like. Hey, I'm not like
Right.
that. Fuck you. What are you talking
Right.
about?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
any any
You know,
memos to Ryan
yeah.
about that?
Well, I am gonna legally change my name. That's probably the thing I'm gonna go ahead and do. Might as well just get that over with. But no, I mean, I I love the nuance of it, and going all the way back to asking about Calaveras versus the assassin in the show.
Yes.
Um, uh, during the premiere at the party afterwards, we all got to hang out. It was great. It was lovely. We got to talk, and two of my favorite characters in the show are the assassin and Jeremy. And Anthony Ramos and Jeremy Pope are two of the sweetest, kindest, most wonderful people. I got to meet Anthony's brother, Mario, who sorry, Marco. But he he is no, it's Mario. I'm gonna mess it up every time. I get to meet Anthony's brother Mario, who is helps him out. Great, great guys. And then I got to meet Jeremy Pope's dad. Uh, I was standing there. I've been intending to, like, because everybody's wanting to talk to everybody, and you don't want to interrupt, and you want to be polite. And I was getting ready to talk to Jeremy, and a director and editor, one of the editors of the show, came over, and I started talking with them, and then it missed my chance to talk to Jeremy. And he had gone off to talk with some other people, and there was this gentleman standing there, and I just, with me, I was like, "Hey, you having a good evening?" And he's like, "Yeah." And we started talking, and he's like, "Yeah, well, I'm Jeremy Pope's dad," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm," and he was wonderful. It was a very delightful experience. But the story that I was working towards, sorry, I ramble. Um, uh, Anthony Ramos was talking about the eye patch that he
Yes.
wears in the show. Um, and he's like, yeah, it started out and it was a whole mask. We were going to do that thing, and then it kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it's an eye patch. Here's the thought behind that. In a comic, you can have a guy in a mask and it doesn't matter, ever. If you hire someone as absolutely handsome as Anthony Ramos, why the hell would you stick him behind a mask the entire show? So, and you know what? Love it. I'm all in.
Oh, Chair, no, it works again because you're going to have intense close-ups, and it's this one little flaw that is there. And also, again, the dialogue that Ryan and Matt are giving these guys and women is just incredible. And it's I love that. And forgive me, does his character have I forget his name, Antonio? What's his name? His character's name?
It's just the assassin for right now.
Yeah. Oh, it is just the assassin. Okay. Yeah. And that even makes it better, of course, because nameless kind of guy that is out there doing Ashton Kutcher, the pharmaceutical company's bidding. We got to eliminate these people that have. But now I'm filling in just in case people need to catch up and haven't seen those first 3 episodes. There, people have taken the beauty and have sadly gone out, and there are street versions of it that are not as effective and maybe cause some of the bigger complications of the beauty, whereas the assassin has the purest form of it. And he is someone that is, as he says, 65 years old, was born in 61, and has a very Gen X or late boomer kind of attitude towards the world. And that's wonderful because, again, it provides him the opportunity to really comment on the overindulgence and the wish fulfillment of these people that are so desperate to make this choice. And so he's great. And that 3rd episode, everybody, is called Sailing with Christopher Cross. Christopher Cross is in the title. And there's this wonderful monologue about the song Sailing, because as he goes out to for a kill, yacht rock music soothes him, which cracks me up. I mean, that's the thing. Sadly, I'm relating mostly to the assassin, my age. And I mean, and just that mild contempt for the youth culture that needs to be beautiful is just such a wonderful comment, socially. And that's what great science fiction and horror does. And that's what The Substance
exactly.
did. And it really, again, this is just the perfect story for this perfect moment. And the good
Mhm.
news is your comic can reflect it. And just like The Walking Dead in those in that first season really was faithful to the comic, and also subsequent seasons to a degree as well. But the great thing is the comic is the comic, the television show is the TV show. You can do
Yeah.
other things. And this is where the ambition for all of us, not only as yourself with Ignition Press and as the creator, co-creator, but really all of us are rooting for, hey man, maybe this will make more people go into a comic book store, want to get the beauty, and also, hey, while I'm here, well, shit, I like crime stories. Look at all the crime stuff. Christ, I like other horror stories. Look at all the great horror comics that are out there. It's a wonderful
Absolutely.
opportunity for the hobby and for the business to really reap the benefits of a quality adaptation that this is, and that's just outstanding.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really cool time, and again, I just always was waiting for the other shoe to drop or something. I don't know. Like I never expected to be so fortunate to be a part of something that's getting this big and going into the places that it's going. And we're having crazy amounts of fun writing the comic at the same time that this is going on. And one of the things that Hurley and I keep talking about with it is like, there are adaptations that are so close sometimes to the thing that it's almost kind of boring. Like you're like, oh
Yes,
well, I know I know everything. You get like moment by moment remakes and stuff like that, and you're like,
sure.
it's weird. I think about the remake of Psycho, right? And it was
Right, Gus Van
so
Sant, shot for shot, took the Hitchcock movie and did another version. And forgive
yeah.
me for stepping on you, but yeah, man. And it wasn't. I mean, my God, it doesn't resonate. Or one of my favorite examples is I used to look in the TV listings and I'd be like, oh, Get Carter's going to be on. Wonderful. One of the
Mhm.
greatest British crime movies of all time with
Right.
Michael Caine. No, no,
Yeah.
no. It's
No,
Sylvester
it's Stallone.
Stallone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I
Continue.
mean, and like, look, those can exist. I do your thing. Like, there is room for all the things, but there is room for the Stallone version out there, buddy. I just no, but we're gonna talk offline, and I'm gonna tell you how that's my favorite movie ever, and you're never gonna speak to me again. That's what's gonna happen. But like I like stuff that is the vibe, and then does what it's going to do. As a fan of the thing, like there's times where literally like some of my favorite books, I don't always watch the movie because like, you know, it's not what I wanted, or it's too similar.
How do you and Hurley then I appreciate you saying you don't want the television show to affect what you guys are doing in the book. How do you again handle your side of the synergy?
I I think that I talked about it before, and but like if when we started the beauty, we only knew that we were going to get those first 6 issues. Like we only expected that. I mean, honestly, even with pilot season, we thought we were going to get one issue and maybe no more.
Pilot season,
But
everybody, that was what Top Cow was doing back then. And literally they were one shots that they made the decision whether they would continue, much like a television show. I just wanted to clarify when you
yeah,
say pilot season that it was a comic book event that Philip and Top Cow were doing at the time.
and we won that, and then we got to do more, and then my exclusive was up at a weird time. I had to finish some Darkness stuff, and so it took a little while to get to me being freed up to do the beauty. So we did the beauty at Image, which is, Top Cow is part of Image,
Right.
and so Matt Hawkins and Mark Silvestri and Philip were like, go with God, go do it over at Image, make the thing.
Okay.
They were incredibly supportive, and we did that. But then we knew that we would really we only get 6 issues, but we had other stuff that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So we have this list, and it has like 23 things on it, like examining, what, how does sports, how would being physically better, you could be the best athlete in the world, but if you take the beauty, you are the best athlete in the world that now has an edge, right? Like you are in your perfect physical prime.
Gee, I've never heard of that before in sports. Wait, there are drugs that enhance your performance? What an unheard of proposition.
What if you had one that wasn't really traceable in the same way because it was just an STD? What if that? So like that's something that we're examining in the new series, and being able to look at those things that were on that list. I mean, like even doing the 30 issues, we really, if we did like one of our things per arc, you're talking about, like 10 of the things off that list. So we had a bunch more. And one of the great things about writing a long form story, especially one that doesn't necessarily chronologically happen, because like volume 1 is technically the end of the beauty. It's there is a cure there. It's not good, but it's a cure. But like volume 1 is the end of the series. Volume 2, we meet new characters, and it's about a year before volume 1, and we understand more about the world. And so the newest Ignition arc, issue 3 just came out yesterday, is the first 6 months that the beauty is out there. So people don't even know yet that much about it. By when the story starts in issue 1 of the original series, it was 2 years into the beauty. The first person starts really dying. Being able to play with the chronology, we can kind of go in and like, oh, wait a minute. We laid out this here, and this here. We can connect these dots in really fun and interesting ways. The big villains, the equivalent of Ashton Kutcher's The Corporation in the original comics were these 87-year-old twin sisters, and they just go by the Abernathy in who I named after Ben Abernathy, a buddy of mine, comics editor. But the Abernathy, these twin sisters, and they are part of a pharmaceutical conglomerate, and they just have their hands in everything. I'm going to spoil it a little bit. I'm just going to say it. In the new arc, we meet their brother, who is another Abernathy, and it shines a light on 6 things. We're able to sort of mess with the chronology of the story and just tell what we want to tell. And look, here's the great thing. There are going to be themes that sort of touch on each other, but I like that. I like the idea that like I'm not ever going to have that great scene where they're talking about Christopher Cross and singing in the car,
Sure,
in the comic, but there are elements of some of those characters that are going to be similar in the story because we're talking about the same kind of stuff.
of course, absolutely, man. No, so yeah, I mean, we're following a weatherman who I mean, tell us about your cast in the comic and their
He's
exposure to the beauty.
Yeah. Well, he is a damned meteorologist, sir. He's not a weatherman. You gotta
I
get.
beg your pardon.
No, there's this character. He has the worst name. He has the worst name of anybody in any of the Ignition books coming out, except for Son Cassidy, in another book. But he has his name's Kelvin Frost, which is a terrible, hilarious
Uh,
weatherman name.
I've
Like,
again, having been in broadcasting for 30 years, 30 plus years,
yeah.
I've met my share of cute, kitschy people that, and right now there's definitely somebody, Flip Spicer comes to mind back in the day at CNN for a weatherman, but you guaranteed Frosty Jones is out there or Stormy, of course, Stormy Daniels, the porn star. I guarantee you there's a weather woman Stormy out there or a man.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so basically Kelvin is he's kind of not able to keep up in the ratings. He's not quite handsome enough, he's not quite charming enough.
Yep.
And he's looking for something to kind of make him hotter. And so that's the beauty comes into that. With him, and his story just goes off the rails pretty much immediately. How he gets the beauty and what happens with it is a lot of fun. We kind of have really like three main groups in this story. We've got two agents that are not Foster and Vaughn, our original detectives. They're detectives. These two are agents. John Good and Connie Creighton are the detectives, and Connie Creighton is named after our director of marketing, Bree Sarpy, her grandfather, and I love getting to do that little nod. But they're detectives, and they're looking at crimes similar to what is kind of going on in the show, but it's taking a different path, and they interact with Calaveras, and our assassin character, and then we also have a through line that is us dealing with the sports stuff. We've got our fictional football team in the beauty universe called the Kraken. And although I know that there is a Seattle-based hockey team called the Kraken. Trust me, I know.
Oh, crazy!
But I just thought
I didn't know that.
but yeah, we wanted to have fun with that, and so we have kind of our analogs for maybe a Missouri, soon to be Kansas-based quarterback and tight end, that people might know really well. Neither of these characters are dating, like a famous pop singer
stars,
or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and us talking about sports and how they're changing, and like that, if you got a guy that's in his prime, but he's just not quite hitting the marks, what could he do to get that edge? And we're just having a blast with it. I mean, it's like I said. And we've got a great espionage thing going on too. Somebody trying to steal data because this is very early on, trying to steal data for what could be information about cure or how it's very again similar there. So a great character. Her name's Knox, and
yes,
she's a lot of fun to play with in the story. She's great.
Well, also, and again, I love this about both the TV show and the comic. These are adult comics. This is an adult TV show, and I'm all for that. This is my one area where I'm like, hey, there are plenty of comics for kids. This is not one of them. But the good news is that's great. The good news is, and especially when you're dealing with aesthetic beauty, you should be able to show nudity. You should be able to show the bright side of the beauty, the benefits of the beauty, and show beautiful people.
Yeah. It's hilarious. I do want to give a shout out to Emma Lupacchino, our artist, Emmanuel
Indeed.
Lupacchino, of Marvel and DC fame. She's joined us on this, and she is so good. I mean, like her work is just utterly fantastic, and what she's doing, she draws beautiful people, and she
Damn right.
also draws all the other dumb shit that that Hurley and I are like, let's have this scene with two guys arguing in a car wash or whatever. Um, but um, but she draws the most beautiful people. It's amazing. And as you were kind of pointing out, this is a comic for grown-ups. And Hurley and I are equal opportunity. We're like, hey, if we're going to show, we're going to show people of all the genders naked. Not just focusing on ladies. And so, but we have this funny thing because you know we want to be absolutely respectful to Emma and her own boundaries for what she wants to draw or not want to draw and
Sure,
everything
sure.
like that. So every once in a while, we'll just have a note here that says, like, hey, within whatever you feel comfortable drawing, we want to be respectful of that. But this is the party with a bunch of people doing crazy things. Feel free to show as many dudes walking around naked as women. Bring it. And we're fine with it because why would we? Why not? Why not be supportive of everybody wants to see the things? Yeah.
The things, indeed. Yes, the things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well said. I love that. Uh, Again, the great news is because of this, and we're really at the beginning, Jerry. It's going to be really interesting when the 12-ish episodes wrap up, and I certainly hope that because it is a quality show. That's something both quality comic, quality TV show, and that's the good news for all of us. And it's a very crowded media landscape. So just because it is Ryan Murphy and it is on Hulu and it is FX doesn't necessarily mean it might hit the zeitgeist to the point that some of these other shows do. And
Right.
I mean, again, it just aired, the three first episodes just aired last night. So I don't even know if anyone has contacted you with overnight numbers or response.
I try to just hide from stuff like that, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, I do know that
Okay.
I know that people seem to really be enjoying the show. I know that people that would be honest with me if they were like, "Hey, this sucks," if they really felt that way, they would tell me. You would absolutely tell me. You'd be like,
Of course I'd tell you.
"Aaron, we're gonna
Absolutely I'd
talk. We're,
tell you.
we're gonna talk about it, but I don't like it. You've told me so many times this isn't for me, or I don't care for this. You're always respectful, but yeah, you're honest about stuff. And I have a lot of
Sure.
people in my life that, I mean, look, to be honest with you, if I didn't like the show, I would be supportive of it, but I would not be telling you how much fun I am having watching it. You know, that moments, literally affected me, that I laughed my ass off in that damn car scene. They're like they're we were talking about it after we saw the first, or it's the second episode at the premiere. In their fight scene, there's a chase fight scene in Venice, and there are a couple of hits that are such jump scares. I watched everybody in the audience go like that. There are great moments in this thing, and it's just a hell of a lot of fun. And I wouldn't be, I wouldn't try to tell you this is amazing if I didn't think it was amazing.
I hear you,
But
man. No, and that's the great thing about the TV show. It really, again, it goes from being a street level story to a global story. And I loved how it opened in Italy, and which makes sense given that we had that initial attack happen to, was that Bella Hadid? That the
yeah,
first one that exploded?
that was Bella Hadid. Yeah, in the
Yeah,
first
I mean,
one.
I watched the after show podcast
Yeah,
and watched her interview as well.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It really is this wonderful shocking initial incident. And then, as you say, in the second episode as well. But this is a global story, both in the comic and as well on the television show. And like you said, the story possibilities are endless.
Yeah, quick story about Bella Hadid. She was, at the premiere and everything like that, and I got to meet her. She's a big comic book fan. She loves comics, and yeah,
What's she name check? Yeah, tell me what she read.
It was very busy, so we didn't get as deep. They were literally getting ready to take pictures with her and Ryan together, and so but
Of course.
she met me, and she was like, oh, and then when she realized that I was the co-creator of the comic, she was just like, I love comic book, and like and she got very, very excited about it. And it's always cool. We have a problem socially where we only want people to really be one thing, right? Like oh, supermodel. Nope, likes comic books, loves this fun stuff. Like she's from Texas, she's just like very, very normal.
Oh, that's great.
But that was a great thing. The cast and crew, and the cast is awesome to talk to. Everybody, you want to talk to the cast, of course, and talking to Ryan and Matt and everybody. That's the awesome part. But like the crew is also so into this and so excited about it. And hearing the ones that are like, yeah, no, I totally read the comic book. Like that's a great feeling. And having like there, I got asked, why more ads don't talk about the comic, and I'm like, because it's it's a multinational conglomerate thing, like FX and Disney are doing this huge, Hulu's doing this huge thing, like created by Ryan Murphy. The show is created by Ryan Murphy. That doesn't take away from the fact that the comic and concept were created by Hurley and I, and our name is on that show. Every single episode, if you leave the trailer or the credits up, my name is in there twice. Hurley's name is in there twice. Like, we're good. We're so good.
Sure.
We're getting the love.
The great thing is too that because I watched the first season of American Horror Story and it was fantastic. That was more than enough for me. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Because I'm not a big horror guy necessarily.
Right.
But the great thing is both this comic and the television show, as you've described, it's a procedural as well. There's a level of espionage in there as well. The corporate espionage, I think, is incredibly fascinating. And the story opportunities for both the comic and the television show present themselves that way. So it's wonderful that there are these that the show goes beyond the usual, oh, it's Ryan Murphy horror, okay, great, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is so much bigger. And again, benefiting from this incredible cast of not only the name stars, but as we've described, Jeremy Pope and Anthony Ramos as well. Yeah. And then the A-listers like Ashton and Isabella Rossellini. Thrilling. Was Rossellini at the premiere?
Yes. I don't want to say that I fangirled, but I did. Look, I the entire cast is fantastic. Rebecca Hall, who plays Jordan. So Foster and Vaughn are the detectives in the comic. Cooper is for Foster, and Jordan is for Vaughn. Rebecca Hall plays Jordan in The Beauty, the show. But Rebecca, I was a huge fan of from a lot of her like horror film work. She did a really kind of back to back these two. The Night House was a horror film that she did that was fantastic. She's amazing in it. And then she did this movie, Resurrection, that is a genuinely screwed up, heartbreaking wonderful film, and I loved that. And, and a lot of people know Evan Peters from being Quicksilver in the Marvel universe, in the more the Fox X-Men stuff, but then also in WandaVision.
That's right.
And and then Evan was the longest running series regular in American Horror Story. He came back season after season after season and was fantastic there. And played Dahmer. I mean, he's been, and he's marvelous. But I got a little faint meeting Isabella Rossellini. I'm a little younger than you, but I'm a lot older than most people. I mean, sh- but she was
Blue
just a
Velvet.
delight, and
Yeah.
she's, I mean, uh, you know, she is remarkably elegant and just lovely, and
Well, she's the child of film royalty. My God, I mean, she's Ingrid Bergman's daughter, and of course, I believe Carlo Rossellini, or I forget forgive me if I'm getting his name wrong. Everybody, the wonderful director, but yeah, man, no, she comes from a quality stock, and again, as I didn't mean to step on you, Jared, but yeah, man, I've been in love with this woman since Blue Velvet and Cousins and so many wonderful films, and it's so great. And also, what a wonderful part to play. We don't know much about her character right away in the first three episodes.
Right.
But you kind of sense where it's going.
Oh, but she's hilarious and awesome.
Very funny.
Just and amazingly cast. I mean, obviously you and I, one of our focal points is going to be Blue Velvet. Like that's such a powerful role. But like she was in, Death Becomes Her.
Yes.
And which is, and look, people are like, oh, is the beauty, it has elements of these things. Like these are different time periods. If you take, 25 years ago, Death Becomes Her came out, 30 years ago now. And then the beauty is kind of somewhere in the middle, and then the substance was the newest iteration before the beauty TV series.
Sure.
But like these are examinations of beauty and aging and the expectations that are put on us as humans to look a certain way and be a certain way. And but Isabella Rossellini is a goddess, almost literally, in Death Becomes Her. And I was blown away. Also, I feel like I want to congratulate myself because I know I was kind of freaking out seeing her there, but I handled it really well. I was a pro. I was cool. And I also know that like there was a part of me that just wanted to be like, can we please just talk for a little while about David Lynch and how how amazing he was and what a gift he was. I also didn't do that. I so wanted to just be like, can we go over there and just talk for a while? And this is not that event, and I also respect her too much to do that. But I just want to hear her stories about David Lynch. He's there. I can never begin to be a mind like David Lynch was. He was so singular, so magical. But there are so many elements of him and his work in the stuff that I do now. Like it's just there. It's it's not always visible, but there's stuff that I can't not pull in with all of my heart into what I do. So yeah, but I didn't geek out too much.
Beautiful, man. Am I keeping you too long?
No,
we've been going about 90 minutes. Okay, good.
Yeah. Whatever works for you. I'm
all right. Because there is still more. Now you say that Hurley is also creative consultant. Is Hurley the one that's interfacing more with Ryan and Matt?
I mean, if again the show is up and running, like the thing,
Sure.
it's
Yes.
it has synergy at this point. If there is, and it basically the thing about it is that our roles on the show are to assist in anything that they need us for, and it's an easy email or phone call or whatever it is,
Sure.
and I mean, but they're telling their story now. If they have a question for us, we're Hurley
Yeah.
is available and I'm available, and I mean, like, we're there. But
Okay.
he you know
Early on,
now
then,
the yeah
as they
yeah
were
yeah it was
forming the Bible for the show.
right. Yeah, there was the conversation more, and look again, they probably will need us for something, like that's just how that goes. But you know right now they're in the promotion phase, like the
Right.
like
Well, again,
the,
the episodes are made.
right.
All
Yeah.
12 episodes are made, likely,
Yeah.
or near the end
Yeah.
of production, if not.
Yeah, there's anything that they kind of need to do tweak wise is being, but again, this is the promo phase. I mean, you've seen how they did they did New York. We came home. They did, like, the next night they did, like, London, and then, like, a couple days later they were in Rome. I mean, like, they really they are on the junket and they are promoting the hell out of this, and it is amazing.
Well, rightfully so. Again, the fact that this is dealing with beautiful people and the fashion element of it lends itself to these other countries and cities. So that's it. That's the thing, Jared. Again, timing and I mean, we never stop being fascinated by the beautiful people,
Right.
but as we've said, I mean, just the dominance of Ozempic and the other like-minded drugs, and
Mhm.
I mean, it really is this perfect storm of where the culture is. That this is the
Absolutely.
perfect story for this moment. So that's great, and also mutually beneficial for Ignition Press. And
Yeah.
I do want to acknowledge that Beyond the Beauty, Jer's also got Murder Podcast up and running,
Yeah.
and we're 4 issues in.
Yeah. Issue 4 is out right now. Issue 5 comes out in February. Issue 4 is out, and it is the kind of we it's 8 issues. The whole thing is 8 issues, and issue 4 is me slapping readers in the face. Like, it's really, it's a very, very big moment. Uh, a big thing happens, changes the status quo of the book itself. Um, and I, you know, telling a story like The Beauty and at the same time telling a story like Murder Podcast is just so much fun for me. I, it, I love, for a long time, I think I had a couple people, friends that were like, "Oh yeah, you're kind of a big idea guy." They were like, "Oh, you like, like, if you take, like, the leading man, you take the beauty, and you take, like there were things that I kind of am known to do." But I love character so much, and getting to play with character the way that we have, Hurley and I, in the beauty, and then I have in Murder Podcast. It's just a great thing. I mean, Murder Podcast is the story of a cursed podcast that pops up in your feed and makes you murder every single person around you for the length of that podcast. You don't stop unless you're stopped. It's brutal. It's crazy. Like, and I mean, I'm talking about, it doesn't matter who you're with. If you hear the podcast, you'll kill them, or at least die trying yourself. And I love the idea of setting this up and then having characters that you care about, that I care about, that you want, because you realize that, I mean, nobody's really safe, and what could happen with it, and the effect of it. And we definitely see that by this point in issue 4, and it's nuts.
That's excellent. Here, Carrie says, Got my signed Kickstarter copy of Murder Podcast. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
There you go. Pete Beiser joining us and says, saw the panel for the Beauty and NYCC last fall. Great looking cast, great looking show. Absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So, no, that's great. Next week, I was telling Jeremy off the air, we're going to have another Ignition Press book to look at. Jim McCann, dear friend from his days at Marvel, and also, God, I always forget. Tell me what the new Dayman. What's it called again, Chair? His other book,
Return of the Dapper Man.
Return of the Dapper Man, a
Yeah.
wonderful book that he made with Janet Leigh.
Yeah.
So Jimmy's a good friend, and literally this week is like, hey man, I got an Ignition Press book. Can I come on? I'm like, Jesus, I haven't talked to this guy, since his days at Marvel, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting into his book as well. And also I got to talk to Philip and really what you guys are doing over at Ignition. I think this is a really wonderful opportunity. I mean, I don't know, Joe. What else can I say other than I'll be watching? I'd like to check in with you as the season progresses.
Oh, yeah.
At the very least, at the end of the season. But if there's a denouement or a moment in the
Right.
leading up to it,
Yeah.
So
No, I'm always around for you. I'm grateful again. This is a theme through things. I am grateful for what I'm able to do and what I'm able to be a part of. Ignition, and as a partner in the company, as a creative director, and then as a creator, like you said earlier, I'm not just the part of the hair club for men. I'm also a member. I am on the company side. One of my biggest roles is making sure that we are good to creators and living up to what we say and how we say it, and everybody there cares about that. Like, I'm not trying to say that I'm fighting against the evil, because it's just not how these people work. But Philip and Jamie and Eric and Maggie and Bree, like all of our staff deeply care about the creators themselves. But my biggest goal is to try to make a company that is a grown-up company that's actually going to take care of, does what it says, do what you say you're going to do the way you say you're going to do it. It's an adage that my grandpa always said that growing up, and it's something that I believe in now to this day. Like, do the thing, do it right, and then you get to have what you want. I want a company that is not, for lots of reasons, very, very few of them nefarious. We have lost a lot of comic companies in the past decade. Like, if you look at especially even less, if you look at 2019 to now, we've lost a lot of smaller press companies and companies doing creating their own work. And stuff happens and stuff changes and shifts, and I know how much people care. I know if you look at all of the companies right now that are out there trying to do things and trying to make comics better, we're all trying to make things better. But I believe that we can be a part in affecting change, and I am going to continue putting my money where my mouth is. I'm going to continue making sure that voices like Leah Williams on Voyeur, and Jim McCann on the other half, and Stephanie Williams on Roots of Madness, and the amazing breadth of talent that we have and can work with out there. That we're going to continue pushing those things, and I'm going to keep telling my own stories because I'm a weirdo and I can't stop. I'm going to keep supporting other creators telling their stories. We got good things coming.
the good news is, again, Jeremy paid his dues at DC and Marvel, and his career is built up to the point where he can kind of do his own thing now with Ignition Press, and that's the great thing. And again, I feel very fortunate, Jerry. You were among my original circle of comic book creators that I befriended. The Kansas City mob, yourself and Clay and Andy Parks and Seth and everybody. God, and it's just been wonderful to see all of your various levels of success. And yeah, man, I mean, again, you've treated me like part of the family, and I really appreciate that. And again, it's been wonderful being a spectator, watching the journey, and contributing when I can on these podcast conversations. And yeah, man, we've gone through a lot, and it's about time that the ship comes in for you, and I'm really happy for you. So way to go, and continued success as always with Ignition Press as a company, The Beauty as a book, Murder Podcast as a book, and whatever else you got planned, because I'm sure more passion projects from Jeremy Haun and Ignition Press are on the way.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I swear to God. I'm gonna take a break. Next week, though, got a full week. Mark Waid's coming back to talk about his take on Superman, Spider-Man, among others, and Michael Jan Friedman, one of my favorite Star Trek novelists, has a brand new Sherlock Holmes thing that he's doing. So some of the highlights for next, and also IDW killing it with the Twilight Zone books. I'll be talking to the editors on Monday. So it's going to be another great week to close out January. January's been an amazing month. I hope you go back, and if you don't see something that you like initially in the scroll down and check the episode list. There's a lot of great conversations, and I've been on a streak as well. So join me and join the others in these great conversations from Word Balloon. Until next time, everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.